Hello, Saphira the Lycan back with another video. First, I wanted to go and give a brief introduction before I start talking about, well, the subject of this video. I wanted to go and say I am a pagan who goes and believes in life, death, and nature. I feel a unique connection towards the idea of, like, the powers of lycanthropy. And I also look at the connection between humans and other animals. The next thing to go and say is that I mean no harm or or to cause any problems or upset anybody with this opinion that I have that I'm going to be sharing next. It's just my own, and it's a part of my own beliefs and ideas. And currently it's more of a theory than just that. But anyway, let's go and get to it. So, to go and put it simply, I thought for a while about this since I was little at first, but I've been thinking about it for a long time. It has something to do with race. There's been a lot of problems with race and racism and lots of things like that, and I've had my own problems with the race that I am, and I have been quite confused, and I've had to think a lot about how I view others, why other people have a problem with other people that are different in that way, and lots of other things. It's confused me for a very long time, and it's never fully made sense to me. But I've also been quite interested in the idea of why it is such a big deal, and how it can be just thoughts on it just in general. Lately, though, as I've begun to be more comfortable with myself and follow more of the things and the path of what I believe in, I kind of got to thinking, and I think I have something that I can consider to be an answer to that, which is that the different races of humans, what if they are, well, like how other animals, you have species, but you have, I don't know what the other term would be, but subspecies, basically. Having regional variants, so to speak, where, like, for instance, even with wolves, you see that there are many kinds of wolves that have evolved, adapted, and changed how they do things based on where they live. They do all kinds of things differently, and obviously they have things in common, but they're different. And I would assume with different behavioral patterns and things. Of course, I would need to go and study far more before I go and act like I'm so sure about anything. But the idea of that, it's also seen with many other animals. I was thinking maybe that's the case with humans, and I actually believe that. I believe that all of the different people, and there's already evidence in that about skin color, why some people have certain skin colors, why others don't, and all that in between. I also kind of created a more detailed idea on this, which was that, or is, that the biggest, most controversial thing, about this is that white people, So the idea of white people, I think that white people is an umbrella term for a much larger group of people that carry a similar skin tone. I was just thinking that maybe specifically Europeans, I don't know exactly where, but certain very specific Europeans are, what if their regional variant and the way that they are isn't necessarily, how's the best way to put it? Isn't necessarily what people think. So, a little bit of backstory on this right quick so that I can explain this fully. I went even more in depth about it, and I started thinking about one particular thing that's been a topic, which is the idea of why white people seem so prevalent in media and in entertainment. I don't want to go too far into it because I know that I don't know everything, but I'm always looking to understand. And the idea that I came up with was that, considering the history that I've learned so far, that I've heard, both good and bad, it sounds a little bit like specifically European humans back in the day were, they had a lot of zeal, if that makes sense. They were very strong in beliefs and opinions, and very strong in general with very many things, and not negatively or badly, but proud of the things that they believe in and that they do. What if that just never went away? What if, without it being this thing where you have to be that way because of whatever skin color you are, race you are, because I don't believe that either. What if, because of all that culture, all those cultures and things that were the way that they were back then, what if that just didn't really go away and that's still around? The roots of many different people still exist, and those beliefs and those ways of being don't just disappear. The lifestyle, the livelihood, these things don't always just go away entirely. So what if that kind of spirit, that kind of energy is still there? I believe that maybe every regional variant or race of human has their own thing that helped them to survive a long time ago, even when they had tribes and religions and they were just starting to grow as people. So I was just thinking, maybe that the reason why that leads up to media now is that maybe that zeal never went away. And perhaps they're just more inclined to be in front of things like cameras and be more extroverted in general. Being more out there and wanting to put themselves out there and be proud of whatever it is that they want to share or say. And sometimes very inclusive too. Other times, obviously not so much because of history, but what if that's the case? And honestly, that makes the most sense to me right now. It makes sense to me because I also don't really buy into the fact that the world is filled with evil or villainous anything. I feel like people can be misguided, misled, and people can be pointed in a poor direction or walk a bad path in life, but I don't necessarily believe that there's evil in the world like that. Not the same way. Maybe there is some, like, there's cruelty that's so bad we can call it evil, but to just be a villain just to be a villain and there's nothing else to it than that, I don't think that that's a thing. And I certainly don't think that a very, very, very large group is going to be that way. I think that the world is far bigger than that, and I believe that it makes far more sense to see how there were parts of something that was good but became corrupted or became bad, unfortunately. And that's what happened in the past. I don't know what the heck's going on in the future, and I don't want to talk about that, but I think that that's mostly the case. And I think that, to be honest, that just like how it takes a long time for certain species of animal to go and feel neighborly, so to speak, with others, they have to deal with them being in their space or being near their territory and pushing against them and or doing their own things, and how they live their lives versus how this species lives their lives. And sometimes they clash and have problems for survival and whatever else is going on. I think that that takes a long time. And I think that it already has been a long time. And I think that slowly things are getting better and have improved. I think that, yeah, that life, and I just don't think that it's extreme, but not that extreme, if that makes sense. There's lots of bad again, and I don't want to ever go and throw away the understanding of how bad things have been. But I'm also aware that everyone has been bad. If we're talking about massive groups of people, everyone has had some people or someone that has been goodness bad, so close to the concept of evil that it's not even funny. That's what I believe. Even if we don't know, because we're not going to have every piece of history that exists, it's almost undeniable, in my opinion, that there isn't at all. And even so, I think that it's not good to only focus on that negativity and just completely ignore every positive thing. Because if we focus on every negative thing, I think that if people focus on every negative thing, that the positive things don't mean anything anymore. So, yeah. That's what I gotta say. Oh, also, I wanted to go and point out that I'm still open for discussion, even on something like this. Feel free to check out my other videos and try to discuss and comment on those. Check out any of the other things that I'm up to, because I like to draw and express myself that way. I just like talking. I am genuinely just a person that likes to discuss things and share. I want to talk, and then I'm sharing my stuff, and then somebody else can share their stuff. And then we just do that. Just hopefully just people being happy and sharing thoughts and how they feel about things, and you know, going back and forth like that. That's kind of what I'm doing this whole thing for, and because I just like to share and talk about things, so that's what I'm looking forward to. So please comment if you can and try to discuss things. I will try to get to you when I can. Even if it's late, I'll probably get to you, so at least at least try with me, please. Please like my video. Subscribe if you can, because I do want to make more videos like this. Yeah. Hopefully I'm slowly improving on at least the video part. I do know that I need more equipment and things. If you want to go and help with that, I might make something like a goal for that and put it on my Ko-Fi, because I also have a Ko-Fi, I have a DeviantArt, I have a Ko-Fi, I have a Facebook. Those are usually what I'm most often on besides YouTube now. So, yeah. Okay. Bye.